Welcome to our channel. Today, we're diving into the eerie world of real haunted trains. From spine-chilling ghost sightings to inexplicable paranormal activity, these stories will leave you questioning reality. Stay with us as we uncover the haunted history of these locomotives and explore the mysteries that still haunt their tracks. If you enjoy this journey into the supernatural, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more thrilling content. Buckle up, because this is going to be a ride you won't forget. 1. Ghost Trains of the Silver Arrow. In the heart of Stockholm, amidst the hustle and bustle of the city, lies an enigmatic chapter of urban folklore, the legend of the ghost trains of the Silver Arrow. Known locally as Silver Pylon, this train is more than just a part of the city's transit system. It has become a vessel of eerie tales and mysterious sightings. Our story begins in the 1960s when the Stockholm Metro introduced a new type of train, the C5 model. Unlike the typical green metro trains, these were clad in shiny, unpainted aluminum, giving them a distinctive silver appearance. The Silver Arrow was initially conceived as an experimental train, intended to test new technologies and materials. There were only 8 cars produced, and they stood out starkly against the more common metro trains of the time. As the years went by, the Silver Arrow continued to serve the metro, but it was rarely seen by the public. Unlike other trains that were adorned with advertisements in bright colors, the Silver Arrow retained its stark, metallic finish. This unusual appearance, coupled with its sporadic sightings, began to seed rumors and speculations among the commuters and metro staff. The true mystique of the Silver Arrow began to take shape in the 1980s. Stories started to circulate about ghostly sightings. People spoke of a spectral train that would appear at stations without warning. Witnesses claimed that this train would glide silently into the platform, doors opening to reveal an empty, dimly lit interior. Those who dared to step aboard described an eerie atmosphere, with flickering lights and a chilling cold that permeated the air. One of the most famous encounters involves a man named Carlson. Late one night, Carlson was waiting for a train at the Kimling station, an unfinished and abandoned station on the Blue Line. To his astonishment, a Silver Arrow train appeared out of nowhere. He boarded it, but found himself alone in a seemingly endless tunnel. Hours later, he was discovered unconscious at the end of the line, with no memory of what transpired during his journey. The legend of the Silver Arrow grew with each passing year. Some say it's a phantom train, appearing only to those who are lost or seeking something unattainable. Others believe it's a harbinger of doom, forewarning of impending disasters. A popular rumor suggests that the train transports the souls of the dead, offering them a final journey before they move on to the afterlife. One particularly eerie tale involves a young woman named Ellen. She vanished without a trace one stormy night, only to reappear a decade later. She claimed to have been a passenger on the Silver Arrow, describing the train's ghostly nature and the timeless quality of her journey. Her story, though dismissed by many as delusional, added another layer to the mystique surrounding the Silver Arrow. Over time, the legend of the Silver Arrow became ingrained in Stockholm's cultural fabric. It has inspired countless books, films, and even guided tours dedicated to the city's haunted spots. The Kimling station, forever linked to the Silver Arrow, remains a symbol of the unknown and the unexplained. Interestingly, despite the numerous tales and sightings, there has never been any concrete evidence to support the existence of the ghostly Silver Arrow. This lack of proof has only fueled the mystery, making it a perennial topic of fascination and speculation. To this day, the story of the Silver Arrow serves as a reminder of the thin veil between reality and the supernatural. It's a tale that invites us to ponder the mysteries that lie just beyond our understanding, lurking in the shadowy corners of our everyday world. 2. The Ghost Train of Mao. The Mao train line was part of the Wilmington and Manchester Railroad, a significant route in the mid-19th century, crucial for transporting goods and passengers through North Carolina. The trains that ran along this route were part of the lifeblood of the local economy, linking the port city of Wilmington to the broader inland regions. The pivotal event that set the stage for the ghostly legend occurred on a fateful night in 1867. Joe Baldwin, a conductor on the train, was on duty when a catastrophic accident took place. Baldwin was in the caboose, a train car at the end, when he realized that it had become detached from the rest of the train. He frantically waved his lantern to signal the engineer, hoping to stop the train and avoid a collision with the following train. Tragically, his efforts were in vain. The caboose was struck from behind, and Joe Baldwin was decapitated in the collision. His head was never found, and his body was buried in the local cemetery. Soon after Baldwin's tragic death, reports began to surface of a mysterious light near the site of the accident. Local residents and train conductors alike claimed to see a swinging lantern light on the tracks at night. The light appeared to be signaling in a manner eerily similar to Joe Baldwin's final, desperate actions. These sightings were frequent and consistent, leading many to believe that Baldwin's spirit was still on the tracks, searching for his lost head. Over the years, the legend of the Ghost Train of Mao grew as more people reported seeing the spectral light. Train engineers reported slowing their trains, believing the light to be a real signal, only to find nothing there upon closer inspection. Some witnesses described the light as moving along the tracks, while others said it hovered in place before vanishing suddenly. A particularly notable encounter occurred in the early 20th century when President Grover Cleveland's train passed through the area. Cleveland's entourage reported seeing the light and were baffled by its unexplained appearance and disappearance. As the legend grew, so did the rumors and attempts to explain the phenomenon. Some skeptics suggested that the light could be caused by swamp gases or phosphorescence. Others believed it might be reflections from car headlights or nearby street lamps. However, these explanations failed to account for the specific location and consistent movement of the light. Another theory proposed was that the light was a result of natural electrical phenomena, similar to St. Elmo's fire, a weather phenomenon in which a glowing light appears during thunderstorms. Yet, this theory also fell short, as the sightings occurred in various weather conditions, not just during storms. The story of the Ghost Train of Mao became deeply embedded in local folklore. It inspired numerous articles, books, and even television programs exploring the mystery. The light sightings continued well into the late 20th century, drawing curious visitors and paranormal investigators to the tracks. In 1977, the tracks of the Wilmington and Manchester Railroad were removed, effectively ending the possibility of further sightings. However, the legend persists, with locals and historians continuing to share the story of Joe Baldwin and his ghostly lantern. The tale of the Ghost Train of Mao is more than just a ghost story. It reflects the historical significance of the railroad in North Carolina, the tragic consequences of early train travel, and the human desire to find meaning and explanations for the unknown. Whether one believes in ghosts or not, the story of Joe Baldwin's haunting is a poignant reminder of the dangers faced by those who built and operated the early railroads, and how their memories linger in the places where they met their untimely ends. (3) The Ghostly Lights of the St. Louis Light. In the small town of St. Louis, Saskatchewan, a railway track once ran through the landscape, linking communities and providing vital transportation for people and goods. This track, laid down in the early 20th century, was part of the expansion of the Canadian National Railway, a symbol of progress and connection in a vast and often isolating landscape. The railway line through St. Louis was an ordinary one, typical of many such lines crisscrossing Canada. The trains that traveled this route carried everything from coal and timber to mail and passengers. For the residents of St. Louis, the railway was a lifeline, a thread that connected their small community to the larger world. The whistle of the train was a familiar sound, a part of the daily rhythm of life. However, as with many railway lines, the St. Louis track was not without its incidents. Stories of accidents and tragedies were not uncommon. One of the most infamous incidents occurred in the early 1920s. A conductor, performing his duties on a dark and foggy night, met with a tragic accident. As the story goes, while he was inspecting the tracks, he was struck by an oncoming train. The details are murky, but the result was clear: he was decapitated in the collision. His tragic end would later become a key element in the haunting narrative that would envelop the St. Louis tracks. By the mid-20th century, the railway line was decommissioned, and the tracks were eventually removed. It was around this time that the stories of the ghostly lights began to surface. Local residents and visitors alike began reporting sightings of mysterious lights hovering over the abandoned railway line. These lights were described as glowing orbs, varying in color from white to green to red, moving up and down the length of the old track. The most common explanation among the locals was that the light was the ghost of the decapitated conductor, still searching for his lost head. Some described seeing a lantern-like light, which they believed was the conductor's lantern, swinging back and forth as he walked the tracks. Others reported seeing multiple lights, which they interpreted as the train itself, moving along the old path, guided by the ghostly conductor. Over the years, many people have claimed to witness the St. Louis light. Some have even managed to capture it on film, adding to the mystique and allure of the phenomenon. These sightings typically occur at night, often in the early hours of the morning when the surroundings are at their quietest and the darkness is at its deepest. One of the most famous encounters involved a group of high school students in the 1970s. As the story goes, they were camping near the old railway site when they saw the light. Curious and a bit skeptical, they decided to investigate. As they approached, the light seemed to move towards them, growing brighter and more intense. Suddenly, it vanished, leaving the group in stunned silence. Their experience was shared widely, adding to the legend and drawing more thrill-seekers to the area. Another notable incident occurred in the 1990s when a paranormal investigation team visited the site. Armed with cameras and recording equipment, they spent several nights attempting to document the phenomenon. They reported not only seeing the light but also capturing unusual sounds on their recordings, including what they described as the distant whistle of a train and the clanging of metal on metal, reminiscent of a train on tracks. Their findings, while not conclusive, were enough to convince many that there was something truly supernatural about the St. Louis light. As with any good ghost story, the St. Louis light has its share of rumors and theories. Some believe the light is a natural phenomenon, possibly caused by swamp gas or other atmospheric conditions. Others suggest it might be the result of car headlights reflecting off distant objects, creating the illusion of a moving light. These explanations, however, fail to account for the consistency and specificity of the sightings. Another theory posits that the light is a form of electrical phenomenon, similar to ball lightning or St. Elmo's fire. While this is a more scientific explanation, it still doesn't fully explain the seemingly intelligent behavior of the light, which appears to react to observers and move with purpose along the old track. The legend of the St. Louis light has become an integral part of local folklore. It has been featured in various television programs, books, and articles about haunted places and paranormal activity. The site has become a popular destination for ghost hunters and curiosity seekers, each hoping to catch a glimpse of the elusive light. In recent years, the story has also gained traction on the internet, with numerous posts, videos, and discussions dedicated to the phenomenon. This has brought a new generation of enthusiasts to St. Louis, eager to experience the ghostly light for themselves. 4. The haunted carriage of the London Underground. In the bustling heart of London, amid the labyrinthine tunnels of the London Underground, there exists a tale that sends shivers down the spine of those who hear it. This is the story of the haunted carriage, a mysterious and eerie presence that has both fascinated and terrified commuters and railway staff alike. The history of the London Underground dates back to the 19th century. It was the world's first underground railway system, opening in 1863 with the Metropolitan Railway. Over the decades, the network expanded rapidly, connecting various parts of London and facilitating the daily commute of millions. One of the carriages that would later gain notoriety as the haunted carriage was built in the early 20th century. This carriage was part of a series of standard stock trains that served the underground for many years. Initially, it was just another carriage, ferrying passengers through the busy streets of London. It was during the post-war period, particularly in the late 1940s and early 1950s, that this specific carriage began to develop a reputation that set it apart from the others. The first incident that marked the beginning of the haunting occurred in 1948. A young woman named Emily, a daily commuter, was found unconscious in the carriage. When she was revived, she spoke of seeing a shadowy figure with piercing eyes staring at her from the opposite end of the carriage. Emily was deeply traumatized by the experience and refused to travel on the underground ever again. After this initial incident, reports of strange occurrences began to multiply. Passengers frequently reported seeing spectral figures and hearing disembodied whispers. The most common apparition was that of a Victorian-era gentleman, dressed in dark, old-fashioned clothing. He would appear suddenly, often startling passengers before vanishing into thin air. The carriage became known among the staff as the haunted carriage, and some drivers and conductors even refused to work on it. Despite numerous inspections and attempts to debunk the stories, the eerie incidents continued. There were reports of sudden drops in temperature, unexplained technical malfunctions, and the occasional sighting of ghostly figures both inside the carriage and on the platforms. One of the most chilling encounters was recounted by a maintenance worker named John. While performing routine checks late at night, John claimed to have heard footsteps approaching from behind. When he turned around, he saw the faint outline of a man slowly walking towards him. The figure's face was obscured by shadows, but John felt an overwhelming sense of dread. The figure vanished before his eyes, leaving him shaken and unable to continue his work that night. Another incident involved a group of schoolchildren on a field trip. They were traveling on the haunted carriage when several of them began to scream in terror. The teacher later reported that the children had seen a ghostly woman with a pale face and hollow eyes sitting among them. The woman had appeared just as the train entered a tunnel, and she disappeared as they emerged into the light. Various theories have been proposed to explain the hauntings. Some believe that the spectral gentleman is the spirit of a man who died tragically on the underground in the early 1900s. Others suggest that the carriage itself might be cursed due to the use of materials taken from a decommissioned morgue train, which was used to transport bodies during the war. There are also those who believe that the hauntings are the result of residual energy from the thousands of passengers who have traveled on the carriage over the decades. According to this theory, intense emotions such as fear, anxiety, and despair have somehow imprinted themselves onto the carriage, manifesting as ghostly apparitions. Despite the numerous reports and personal accounts, skeptics argue that the so-called hauntings are simply the result of overactive imaginations and the power of suggestion. They point out that the London Underground, with its dark tunnels and echoing sounds, is a naturally eerie environment that can easily give rise to ghost stories. Over the years, several paranormal investigators have attempted to capture evidence of the hauntings. While some have reported strange readings on their equipment and unexplained phenomena, definitive proof remains elusive. The legend of the haunted carriage continues to be a topic of debate among both believers and skeptics. 5. The Midnight Express. The Midnight Express, a train shrouded in mystery, began its journey in the late 19th century. This train was known for its punctuality and the luxurious experience it offered. The train's route connected several major cities, traversing through picturesque landscapes, dense forests, and rugged terrains. It was a symbol of progress and modernity, reflecting the industrial age's advancements. The train's interior was adorned with plush velvet seats, intricately designed wooden panels, and ornate chandeliers. Passengers enjoyed fine dining, with gourmet meals prepared by top chefs. The Midnight Express quickly became a favorite among the elite, a status symbol for those who could afford its lavish services. However, the train's history took a dark turn in the early 20th century. On a stormy night, as the Midnight Express was making its way through a dense forest, it derailed. The accident was catastrophic, resulting in numerous fatalities and severe injuries. The cause of the derailment was never conclusively determined, though theories ranged from sabotage to natural causes like a landslide. After the tragic incident, the Midnight Express was restored and put back into service, but it was never the same. Passengers and crew began reporting strange occurrences. Flickering lights, sudden drops in temperature, and inexplicable sounds became common. Whispers of the train being haunted spread quickly, and the Midnight Express earned its eerie reputation. Stories of ghostly encounters proliferated. Passengers claimed to have seen apparitions of former travelers, their faces etched with sorrow. Some reported hearing disembodied voices calling out in the night. The most chilling accounts came from those who said they saw the specter of the train conductor, doomed to eternally walk the corridors, checking tickets that no longer mattered. One of the most infamous incidents involved a young couple traveling on the Midnight Express. They recounted how they were awakened in the middle of the night by a loud banging on their compartment door. When they opened it, there was no one there, but they felt a cold breeze pass through. Moments later, they saw a shadowy figure glide past their window, disappearing into the night. Rumors about the train's hauntings grew more elaborate over time. Some believed that the souls of those who perished in the derailment were trapped on the train, unable to move on. Others speculated that the train itself was cursed, doomed to carry the spirits of the dead forever. These stories were often dismissed as superstitions, but the incidents continued to occur, leaving even the skeptics uneasy. Despite its haunted reputation, the Midnight Express continued to operate, attracting curious thrill-seekers and paranormal enthusiasts. The train's operators capitalized on the legend, offering special ghost tours that highlighted its haunted history. These tours became quite popular, blending historical facts with ghostly lore to create a spine-tingling experience for passengers. Throughout the years, numerous paranormal investigators have boarded the Midnight Express, armed with equipment to detect ghostly activity. Some have captured eerie sounds and inexplicable electromagnetic readings, adding to the train's haunted mystique. Yet, no concrete evidence has ever been found to prove the existence of ghosts on the train, leaving its mysteries unresolved. In modern times, the Midnight Express stands as a relic of a bygone era, a testament to the grandeur and tragedy of the past. Its haunted history continues to intrigue and terrify, drawing people from all walks of life who are eager to experience the thrill of riding a train with such a storied and spooky background. 6. The Ghost Train of Athens. The story begins in the early 1900s, a time when Athens was rapidly modernizing. The railway system was an essential part of this transformation, connecting the city to the rest of Greece and beyond. The train in question was a marvel of its time, boasting state-of-the-art technology and a luxurious interior that attracted the elite of Athenian society. Known as the Athens Express, it was a symbol of progress and prosperity. The train ran smoothly for years, serving as a vital link between Athens and various parts of Greece, facilitating trade, travel, and communication. However, the turning point came in the 1920s. The Athens Express was making a routine journey on a dark, stormy night. The weather was particularly treacherous, with heavy rain and strong winds battering the train as it chugged along the tracks. Despite the adverse conditions, the train continued its journey, carrying passengers who were eager to reach their destinations. As the train approached a particularly remote and desolate part of the route, tragedy struck. The combination of the storm and an unseen obstruction on the tracks led to a catastrophic derailment. The train plunged into a ravine, and despite the efforts of the rescue teams, many lives were lost. The Athens Express was never the same after that night. The wreckage was cleared, and the tracks were repaired, but the memory of that tragic event lingered in the collective consciousness of the people. It wasn't long before stories began to circulate about strange occurrences along the route of the ill-fated train. Railway workers reported hearing ghostly whistles in the dead of night, and some even claimed to see the apparition of a train moving silently along the tracks. Passengers who traveled on the new trains often spoke of an eerie feeling, as if they were being watched by unseen eyes. The legend of the Ghost Train of Athens took on a life of its own. Some said that the spirits of those who perished in the derailment were unable to find peace and continued to haunt the tracks. Others believed that the train itself had become cursed, doomed to replay its final journey for eternity. Over time, the stories grew more elaborate. People spoke of spectral passengers visible through the windows of a phantom train, their faces etched with sorrow and despair. There were accounts of travelers who encountered the ghost train and experienced unexplainable phenomena, such as time lapses and sudden chills. One of the most famous incidents occurred in the 1950s when a group of railway workers were conducting routine maintenance on the tracks. As they worked, they heard the unmistakable sound of a train approaching. Confused, as no trains were scheduled at that time, they looked up to see a train coming towards them at full speed. The workers scrambled to get out of the way, but just as the train was about to hit them, it vanished into thin air. Shaken and unable to explain what they had seen, the workers became firm believers in the legend of the ghost train. Another encounter took place in the 1980s when a young couple decided to take a late-night walk along the tracks. As they strolled hand in hand, they noticed a light in the distance. Thinking it was an approaching train, they moved to the side, only to realize that the light was getting closer but there was no sound of a train. The light passed by them, and for a brief moment, they saw the outline of an old-fashioned train, complete with passengers looking out of the windows. The couple hurried back to town, their experience adding to the growing lore of the ghost train. Rumors about the ghost train have evolved over the years. Some say that it only appears on the anniversary of the tragic derailment, while others claim that it can be seen on any dark, stormy night. There are even tales of people who have boarded the ghost train, only to disappear without a trace. These stories have given rise to various theories, ranging from the supernatural to the psychological. Skeptics argue that the sightings and experiences can be attributed to the power of suggestion and the human tendency to see patterns where none exist. They point out that the legend of the ghost train might be a collective coping mechanism for a community traumatized by the tragic event. On the other hand, believers insist that the sheer number of encounters and the consistency of the details cannot be dismissed so easily. They argue that there is something more at play, something that science and reason cannot fully explain. 7. The Ghost Train of Prague. In the heart of Europe lies the city of Prague, a place renowned for its medieval architecture, rich history, and enigmatic folklore. Among its many mysteries, one story stands out, the tale of the Ghost Train of Prague. This eerie legend has captivated the imaginations of locals and visitors alike for decades. Story begins in the early 1900s, during the height of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Prague's burgeoning railway network was expanding, connecting the city to other major European capitals. Among the new additions was a luxurious train known as the Special 5-20. This train was a marvel of its time, boasting the finest amenities, opulent interiors, and a reputation for punctuality and safety. It was the pride of the Czech railways. On a fateful day in 1911, the Special 5-20 departed from Prague's main station, Hlavní Nádraží, on its maiden voyage to a remote village in the Czech countryside. The train was filled with eager passengers, excited to be part of this inaugural journey. However, as the train sped through the picturesque landscapes, something inexplicable happened. As the train approached a newly constructed tunnel, witnesses reported seeing a thick, unnatural fog envelop the entire area. The train entered the tunnel, and then, nothing. It vanished without a trace. Despite extensive searches and investigations, neither the train nor its passengers were ever found. The incident baffled authorities and left families devastated. Over the years, various theories emerged to explain the disappearance. Some believed it was an accident caused by structural issues within the tunnel. Others speculated about a massive cover-up involving government conspiracies. However, none of these explanations provided any concrete evidence or closure. Decades passed, and the story of the missing train faded into local folklore. Then, in the 1930s, strange sightings began to occur. Residents of Prague reported seeing a ghostly train, resembling the Special 5-20, gliding silently through the city's railways during foggy nights. This spectral locomotive, shrouded in a ghostly glow, became known as the Ghost Train of Prague. Witnesses described an otherworldly experience when encountering the train. They reported seeing pale, expressionless passengers staring blankly from the windows. Some claimed to hear eerie, disembodied voices whispering in languages they couldn't understand. The train would appear without warning, travel a short distance, and then vanish into thin air, often near the very tunnel where it had originally disappeared. One of the most famous encounters occurred in 1953 when a railway worker named Jan Kovar was on duty near the old tunnel. It was a foggy night, and Jan, who was skeptical of the ghost stories, suddenly heard the unmistakable sound of a steam engine. As he turned, he saw the ghostly train emerge from the fog. He later recounted that the train passed through him as if he were made of air, leaving him cold and trembling. Jan's account was taken seriously due to his credibility, adding a layer of authenticity to the legend. In another incident in the 1970s, a group of tourists on a night tour claimed they saw the train at the same tunnel. One of them, an amateur photographer, managed to capture a blurry image of what appeared to be a faint, spectral train. The photograph was scrutinized by experts, but no one could provide a definitive explanation, further fueling the mystery. The Ghost Train of Prague has inspired numerous rumors and speculative stories. Some believe that the train is a time-traveling entity, caught in a perpetual loop, forever doomed to repeat its final journey. Others think it serves as a portal to another dimension, trapping those who encounter it in a liminal space between the living and the dead. A more sinister theory suggests that the train is haunted by the restless spirits of its passengers, who are unable to move on due to the traumatic nature of their deaths. These spirits, it is said, are searching for a way to communicate with the living, hoping to find peace and closure. The legend of the Ghost Train of Prague has permeated Czech culture, inspiring books, movies, and even local tours dedicated to the city's haunted sites. It serves as a poignant reminder of the mysteries that still elude human understanding and the stories that shape a community's identity. In recent years, paranormal investigators have taken an interest in the ghost train, conducting nighttime vigils and attempting to capture evidence of its existence. While some have recorded strange sounds and unexplained phenomena, definitive proof remains elusive, leaving the story open to interpretation and imagination. 8. The Haunted Train of New Zealand. The story of the Haunted Train of New Zealand begins in the late 19th century, during the height of the railway expansion. This particular train, originally known as the Night Express, was commissioned in 1888. It was designed to traverse the rugged terrains between Wellington and Auckland, connecting the two major cities and facilitating commerce and travel. In its early years, the Night Express was a symbol of progress and innovation. The train was equipped with luxurious carriages, complete with plush seating and elegant decor, catering to the wealthy and influential. The train's majestic journey through the scenic landscapes of New Zealand was a marvel, with passengers often describing it as a journey through paradise. During its initial years, the train was involved in transporting not just passengers but also important cargo. This included gold from the thriving gold mines of the South Island, which added an element of risk and excitement. The Night Express played a crucial role in the economic development of New Zealand, helping to transport goods and people across great distances efficiently. However, this period of prosperity was not without its challenges. The terrain was unforgiving, and the weather conditions often made travel perilous. There were instances where the train had to halt for days due to landslides or heavy snowfall blocking the tracks. The train's transformation from the Night Express to the haunted train is shrouded in mystery and folklore. It is widely believed that the haunting began after a tragic accident in 1902. On a stormy night, the train derailed near a steep ravine known as Devil's Gorge. The accident resulted in the loss of many lives, including that of the train conductor, Mr. Thomas Fraser, a beloved figure known for his dedication and kind demeanor. In the aftermath of the accident, strange occurrences began to be reported. Passengers and railway workers started experiencing unexplained phenomena. Some claimed to hear phantom footsteps in the empty carriages, while others reported seeing shadowy figures on the tracks at night. The most chilling accounts were from those who heard the eerie whistle of the train, echoing through the valleys long after it had passed. Over the years, the haunted train has been the subject of numerous investigations and documentaries. One of the most famous incidents occurred in 1933, when a group of railway workers reported seeing a ghostly apparition of Mr. Thomas Fraser in the conductor's cabin. According to their accounts, Fraser's spirit seemed to be trying to warn them of an impending danger. Shortly after this sighting, the train narrowly avoided a catastrophic collision with a landslide, thanks to the workers' quick response. Another notable encounter was in the 1950s, when a group of school children on an excursion reported hearing disembodied voices and laughter in the carriages. The children were so terrified that the excursion was cut short, and the train was left vacant for months. Despite thorough inspections, no logical explanation was found for the phenomena, and the legend of the haunted train continued to grow. As with all haunted tales, the story of the haunted train is embellished with rumors and folklore. Some locals believe that the train is cursed and that anyone who rides it will be followed by misfortune. There are tales of ghostly passengers who board the train at night, only to disappear before reaching their destination. Some even claim that the train itself is a ghost, forever doomed to ride the tracks in search of lost souls. One popular rumor is that the train can sometimes be seen at deserted stations, enveloped in a spectral mist. Witnesses have described seeing passengers in old-fashioned attire, staring blankly ahead, oblivious to the world around them. These sightings have fueled speculation that the train is a portal to another dimension, where the souls of the departed are trapped in an eternal journey. Today, the haunted train is a significant part of New Zealand's cultural heritage. It attracts paranormal enthusiasts and tourists from around the world, eager to experience the supernatural for themselves. Special tours are organized, where visitors can ride the train at night, hoping to catch a glimpse of its ghostly passengers or hear the haunting whistle that has become its trademark. Despite its eerie reputation, the haunted train also serves as a reminder of New Zealand's rich history and the enduring spirit of those who braved the early days of rail travel. Whether one believes in ghosts or not, the story of the haunted train of New Zealand continues to captivate the imagination and inspire a sense of wonder and curiosity. 9. The Ghost Train of Boston Bridge. Boston Bridge is a picturesque railroad trestle located in Statesville, North Carolina. Its history dates back to the late 19th century when the railway system was rapidly expanding across the United States. The bridge was built by the Western North Carolina Railroad and completed in 1858, serving as a vital link for transportation and trade in the region. The bridge's notoriety began with a tragic incident on August 27, 1891. On that fateful day, a Richmond and Danville Railroad passenger train, known as the No. 9, was traveling westbound from Salisbury to Asheville. The train was running late and had picked up speed to make up for lost time. As it approached the Boston Bridge, disaster struck. The train derailed, plunging into the ravine below. The horrific accident resulted in the deaths of approximately 23 people and left many others injured. It was a catastrophic event that sent shockwaves through the community and the country. In the years following the disaster, stories began to circulate about ghostly occurrences at the site. It was said that on the anniversary of the crash, eerie lights resembling old train lanterns could be seen moving along the bridge. Witnesses claimed to hear the sounds of the train whistle, screeching brakes, and the agonizing cries of passengers. These tales were further fueled by locals who believed the site was haunted by the spirits of those who perished in the accident. One of the most notable incidents occurred in 1941, marking the 50th anniversary of the crash. A group of locals decided to visit the bridge to commemorate the event. To their astonishment, they reported seeing a ghostly train, complete with an old-fashioned locomotive and passenger cars, speeding along the tracks before disappearing into thin air. This sighting added to the legend, solidifying the bridge's reputation as a haunted location. Over the decades, numerous encounters and sightings have been reported. People visiting the site often describe a chilling atmosphere and a sense of being watched. Some have reported seeing apparitions of passengers in period clothing, wandering near the bridge as if searching for something. Others have heard disembodied voices, footsteps, and the unmistakable sound of a steam engine. In 2010, another tragic incident added to the bridge's haunted lore. A paranormal investigation group decided to explore the site on the anniversary of the crash. During their visit, a freight train approached, and despite their attempts to avoid it, one of the investigators was struck and killed. This modern tragedy further cemented the bridge's eerie reputation and served as a stark reminder of the dangers associated with railroad tracks. Rumors and legends about the Ghost Train of Boston Bridge continue to captivate people. Some believe the apparitions are residual hauntings, a playback of the tragic events of 1891. Others think the spirits are trapped, unable to move on due to the violent and sudden nature of their deaths. Skeptics, however, attribute the phenomena to overactive imaginations and the power of suggestion, fueled by the area's dark history. Despite the various theories, the Boston Bridge remains a focal point for paranormal enthusiasts and thrill seekers. Its remote location and tragic history create an irresistible allure for those fascinated by ghost stories and haunted places. The site serves as a poignant reminder of the fragility of life and the lingering impact of past tragedies. As we reflect on the history and legends of the Ghost Train of Boston Bridge, it's clear that the blend of historical fact and supernatural lore creates a compelling narrative. Whether one believes in ghosts or not, the story of the Boston Bridge continues to resonate, offering a glimpse into the human desire to understand and make sense of the unknown. And so, the tale of the Boston Bridge, with its tragic past and ghostly legends, endures a story woven into the fabric of local history and folklore, echoing through the years with the haunting sounds of a long-lost train. 10. The Haunted London Tube. The London Underground, commonly known as the Tube, is a vast and historic transportation network. Its construction began in the mid-19th century, with the first section opening in 1863. This pioneering system revolutionized urban travel, allowing people to navigate London quickly and efficiently. The network expanded over the years, weaving its way beneath the bustling city streets. Before the whispers of hauntings, the London Tube was an engineering marvel. Its deep tunnels, some of which are among the oldest in the world, were carved out beneath one of the world's busiest cities. The construction wasn't without its challenges and tragedies. Accidents during construction were common, and many workers lost their lives in the dark, suffocating tunnels. The London Underground has seen its fair share of disasters, including train crashes and fires. The deadliest was the Moorgate Tube crash in 1975, where 43 people lost their lives. The hauntings reportedly began to be noticed in the early 20th century. As the network grew, so did the stories of strange occurrences. Ghostly sightings, unexplained noises, and chilling encounters became part of the lore of the Tube. Stations like Covent Garden, Farringdon, and Bank became synonymous with ghost stories. These stations, steeped in history, have seen their share of tragic events, making them prime locations for tales of the supernatural. Notable incidents and encounters. 1. Covent Garden Station. One of the most famous haunted stations, Covent Garden, is said to be haunted by the ghost of William Terrace, a popular actor who was murdered in 1897. Staff and passengers have reported seeing a tall figure in Victorian attire, often in the staff areas or on the platform late at night. 2. Farringdon Station. This station is reputedly haunted by the ghost of Anne Naylor, a young girl murdered in the late 18th century. Her screams are said to echo through the tunnels, particularly in the early hours of the morning. 3. Bank Station. Bank Station is built over the site of a former church and burial ground, leading to numerous ghost stories. The most famous is that of the Black Nun, the ghost of a woman searching for her brother who was executed for forgery. 4. Aldwych Station. Although closed since 1994, Aldwych Station has a rich history of paranormal activity. It was used as an air raid shelter during World War II, and many believe the spirits of those who took refuge there still linger. Rumors and tales. The London Underground's haunted reputation isn't limited to specific stations. Numerous tunnels are believed to be haunted by the ghosts of workers who died during construction, passengers who met untimely ends, and even plague victims. The system's age and history contribute to an atmosphere ripe for ghost stories. 1. The Screaming Spectre. There are tales of a spectral figure, sometimes seen or heard screaming, in the tunnels near Liverpool Street. This is believed to be related to the many bodies buried in the area during the Great Plague. 2. The Phantom Train. Some drivers have reported seeing a ghostly, empty train traveling through the tunnels. This phantom train is often said to be a Victorian-era locomotive, appearing suddenly and disappearing just as quickly. Modern-day encounters. Despite technological advancements and the modernization of the tube, stories of hauntings persist. CCTV footage has occasionally captured unexplained figures, and staff members continue to report eerie experiences. Some commuters have felt an inexplicable chill or sensed a presence while waiting for their train.